When the margin's 4, I mean, it's...
There you go. Joining us now on set, Republican Chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, Michigan Congressman Fred Upton, along with his Democratic colleague, Representative Diana DeGette of Colorado. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
So, Fred and Diana, there's a frustration.
They all serve together.
Yeah, we all serve together.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, they have horrible stories about me. Please don't tell them on the air.
They get worse every year.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I know. I don't get better with age.
Oh,
really. So, a real frustration. The Ebola crisis, the latest example. Americans wondering, why can't we short circuit the process for whether it's the FDA or the NIH or whatever to like get new drugs approved, get new treatment approved? Why can't we?
Well, we need to, and that's actually an initiative that bipartisan initiative that Diane and I are helping to spearhead. We're hoping to introduce legislation. We will introduce legislation early next year that's going to speed up the approval of all drugs and devices. You know, tell me a family that doesn't have someone that's impacted by some disease, cancer, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, you name it. And it's about time that we change the process for approving these drugs and devices, take advantage of the technology, the Genome Project, all those different things, and really move up to the 21st
century. So, Diana,
century.
why haven't we in the past? What's been the biggest obstacle?
Well, I don't think we've been able to figure out what to do. You know, the genome was just mapped a few years ago, but the NIH was established over 100 years ago. So we're now getting a really good consensus from the scientific community and the researchers and the patient advocacy groups. And, you know, disease doesn't just hit Democrats or Republicans. It hits every family. And so that's why Fred and I really decided to team up and make this big bipartisan effort. And everybody's happy about it because we've had such a fight with the midterm elections and so much partisanship.
And Willie, obviously, we've all heard it because all families are affected by disease. Frustration with the FDA approval process. It seems to take so long.
Yeah, I bet every family in the country's seen it in one form or another. So, but to Joe's question, Congressman, what does it look like now? Why does it take so long, and how can one law change all that?
Well, we've been working for the last year, really, with listening to all the different stakeholders, from the pharmaceutical industry to our university researchers, the FDA, the NIH, all the disease groups, asking them what can we do as legislators to really streamline this process, because we know if we can shorten the time for approval and stop, you know, we've lost half of the venture capitalists that were investing in America have now gone overseas because they're so frustrated with the process here.
Here's what happens. It takes up to 10 years and $1 billion to approve a new drug. Because here's what happens. You have a researcher at the University of Colorado, and they do a patient study. Then they want to collaborate with one at the University of Michigan. So they have to go then do a second study there with a whole different set of requirements and everything like that. Then they have to move along that. Finally, they make their application to the Food and Drug Administration. That takes months or years and more millions of dollars, and it just goes on and on because the systems we set up were systems like, for example, we didn't have electronic medical records. We didn't have the genome mapped. So now you could have people put their genomic information into a registry. Researchers could find that and put that all together. But we have all these barriers to doing that.
It looks like a really productive effort. So I want to ask about one other thing, Fred, before we go. Would shutting down the government over immigration be productive, or do you think
it would not be
correct answer?
And Fred and I agree on that.
Yeah, I bet you do.
No, that would be a bad news deal. And I got to say that, you know, the leadership on both sides is you know, saying, you know, on our side in the House, you know, no one wants to go that route. I hope.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Fred Upton,
this is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for not saying anything about my years in Congress on that.
Still ahead.